Ever find yourself dashing through the train station, maybe running a little behind, and wondering, who are those unflappable folks? Calmly guiding passengers like a conductor orchestrates an orchestra.
You mean the ones who always seem to have the answer, no matter how crazy things get? Like the time I swore I'd miss my connection, but somehow they got me on the last train out. Talk about stressful.
Exactly. They're called ground stewards, or stewardesses. And they're like the air traffic controllers of passenger travel, except, on the ground. Today, we're diving deep into RoleCatcher's career guide on this very role, hoping to give you the inside track.
It's a career path that often flies under the radar. But it's someone who, well, I've always been fascinated by how industries tick. And this deep dive is perfect for our listener who, if I recall correctly, identifies as a learner, always up for expanding their horizons.
Spot on. And speaking of things that might seem a bit unusual at first glance, RoleCatcher uses the term desses throughout this guide. Yeah. Desses. Not sure if it's like internal jargon or what, but we'll roll with it for now anyway. Let's get into the nitty-gritty. What do desses actually do?
Well, the guide paints a picture of a role that's way more dynamic than you might think. They're the first point of contact for passengers, the go-to problem solvers, the ones keeping things running smoothly amidst, let's be honest, what can be pure chaos at times.
Talk about a high-energy environment. And the tasks themselves, they're varied too. Ticketing, handling refunds, which, let's be real, can't be easy when you've got delays, cancellations, people are stressed.
Absolutely. But here's what I find fascinating. This role is smack dab in the middle of some huge trends in rail travel. The guide talks about how the industry is modernizing rapidly. It's becoming seriously tech-driven.
So scrap those old images of dusty train stations. This is a world of digital platforms, real-time updates. Passengers expect to be in the loop constantly.
Exactly. And DESIs are right there on the front lines of that whole transformation, guiding passengers, troubleshooting tech issues, basically bridging the gap between the old way and this new digital age of travel.
I can see how a learner would really thrive in that kind of setting, constantly adapting, new systems, new tech. It's not just about knowing the train timetable anymore.
You got it.
Hmm.
It's understanding how technology impacts the passenger experience
Yeah.
and having the skills to navigate that because, let's face it, tech changes fast.
Okay, so we've established it's dynamic, it's ever-changing, but is it the right role for everyone? Thankfully, RoleCatcher, they always give it to us straight, no sugarcoating. Let's start with the perks. What does the guide highlight as the good stuff?
Well, flexible schedules are a big one, a huge draw for a lot of people, especially those who, value that work-life balance or maybe have other passions they're pursuing on the side.
Which, knowing our listener, wouldn't be surprising at all. Always learning, always exploring. That kind of flexibility could be right up their alley. And let's be honest, a fast-paced environment, constantly meeting new people, that's exciting for a lot of folks.
It's funny you should mention that because the guide actually lists opportunity to travel as a potential pro, though it doesn't really elaborate on what that means exactly.
Maybe it's less about, hopping on trains yourself and more about experiencing the world vicariously through the passengers, Every day, different faces, different stories, you're part of their journey, even if you're stationary.
That's a brilliant way to put it. It's the human element, that constant flow of new interactions that adds a whole other dimension to the job. But of course, it wouldn't be a balanced deep dive if we only talked about the sunshine and rainbows.
True. Time for a dose of reality. What are the downsides? What challenges might a Dusty's face?
Well, let's not beat around the bush. It can be demanding. Long hours, often irregular, you're on your feet a lot, dealing with crowds, and things inevitably go wrong. So
Yeah.
you've got to be able to handle the curveballs.
Stamina. Both physical and mental. Not to mention a whole lot of patience.
You got it. And that's where, it's about finding that balance. Do the challenges energize you or drain you? It's different for everyone.
And that's what our learner listener is all about, right? Getting the full picture. But say this role has piqued your interest. What does it actually take to become a Desses? What are we talking about skills-wise?
One thing that jumps out from the guide, it's not just about transportation knowledge. Like, sure, that's helpful, but they emphasize a different set of skills.
Okay, now this is where it gets interesting, especially for our learner listener. This is right up their alley.
Exactly. They highlight service orientation, customer service skills, strong interpersonal skills. This tells me it's not enough to just know the train schedule. You got to connect with people.
Makes sense when you think about it. You're the face of the station, the one people turn to when they're lost, confused, frustrated. Gotta genuinely enjoy that interaction.
And not just enjoy it, but excel at it. Read people, diffuse tension, remain calm when, let's face it, travel plans go haywire.
So people person first, logistics expert second. But what about the career path itself? Can you, like, climb the ranks, become the headesses or something?
Well, the guide's got a career stages section that does a nice job outlining that. It highlights the progression from entry-level roles to more senior positions with, increasing responsibility as you go.
So you might start as a desses, but with hard work, dedication. Who knows where you might end up?
Exactly. And the guide stresses continuous learning, showcasing your capabilities, taking initiative. That's how you stand out. It's not a clock in, clock out kind of gig. You got to be proactive.
Which, again, totally tracks with our listener. They're all about growth, pushing boundaries. But we've only scratched the surface of becoming a desses, and luckily, RoleCatcher has even more to offer, which is great because we're just getting started. We'll be back after a quick break to delve into the practical steps you can take to land this unique role. Stay tuned. And we're back. Before the break, we were knee-deep in the world of ground stewards, or desses, as RoleCatcher would say. Still haven't cracked that code yet.
Maybe it'll be our post-deep dive challenge.
Huh, I like it. But, jargon aside, we've established this job is way more dynamic than meets the eye. And luckily for us, RoleCatcher doesn't just describe it, they give you the tools to actually land the job.
Which is where their job section comes in, right?
Bingo! It's like they're saying, all right, you've got the inside scoop, now let's get you hired. And they've gone all out, integrating job boards directly into the platform.
Saves you from that black hole of endless job sites. Talk about efficiency.
Seriously. A curated feed of potential openings right there at your fingertips. And get this, they have this plugin, RoleCatcher.capture. So you're browsing online, see a job posting that catches your eye, boom, one click, and it's saved to your RoleCatcher account.
It's got to be music to our listeners' ears. They're all about that organization, maximizing time, and minimizing those distractions.
Absolutely. And speaking of organization, get this, RoleCatcher lets you categorize your saved jobs, you can prioritize them, even track your application progress. No more spreadsheets or sticky notes reminding you to follow up.
It's like having a personal assistant dedicated solely to your job hunt. But wait, there's more. Didn't we mention an AI co-pilot earlier?
Oh, yeah. And this is where it really shines. So you found the perfect desses opening, right? AI Copilot swoops in, analyzes your resume against the job description, and tells you, point blank, how you measure up.
No more guesswork, just straight facts. Data-driven insights. Gotta love it.
And it gets better. It'll actually suggest improvements, like maybe you focused on customer service skills, but this particular DESI's role really needs someone tech-savvy. The AI co-pilot will tell you, hey, tweak this, highlight that. Helps you tailor your materials for maximum impact.
Talk about a personalized career coach. Except this one's available 24/7.
And the support doesn't stop there. RoleCatcher helps you manage the entire application process. It's like having a centralized hub for all things job-related.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Give me the rundown. What does that actually look like?
Picture this. You've polished your CV, written the killer cover letter, sent your application off. With RoleCatcher, you can track its every move. Emails, check. Notes from phone calls, check. Upcoming interviews, check. You can even link your LinkedIn conversations all within their platform.
No more digging through email chains or deciphering your own handwriting.
Exactly. Organization is key, saves time, reduces stress, right? And they even have this Kanban board so you can visually track your progress through each stage of the application.
I love a good visual. Bring some order to what can feel like a very chaotic process.
Exactly. But let's not forget, RoleCatcher goes beyond just finding and applying for jobs. They've got this whole suite of tools dedicated to your broader career journey.
You're talking about the Career Compass feature, right? I've heard it's pretty impressive.
Oh, just wait. That's where things get really interesting. But first, a quick word from our sponsors. Just kidding. We're diving straight into Career Compass right after this.
And we're back. We've covered what a ground steward does, or a desses, as RoleCatcher likes to call them, and we even got into the nitty-gritty of their jobs section, all those tools to help you actually land a job. But there's one more piece to explore, the Career Compass.
This is where things get really exciting, especially for our learner listeners. Imagine this a tool that doesn't just help you find a job, but actually helps you map out your whole career path. Pretty ambitious, right?
That's a tall order. How does RoleCatcher even begin to tackle something that big? By thinking big themselves, they've built this incredible database, not just of jobs, but of whole careers. I'm not talking vague descriptions either. We're talking real in-depth breakdowns of each path.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Give me the specifics. What kind of details are we talking about here?
Imagine you're curious about a certain career path, right? But you want more than just a quick Google search. RoleCatcher gives you the inside scoop. We're talking skills needed, potential salary, even real-world examples of people actually rocking those roles.
It's less about just finding a job to pay the bills. It's about actually picturing your future self in that career. I love that.
Exactly. And the way they've designed it is super user-friendly. Say you're really passionate about sustainability, right? And you've got a knack for logistics. Boom, you can filter by those interests, see what careers pop up, or maybe remote work and work-life balance are your top priorities. They've got filters for that too.
It's like they've anticipated every question a learner might have. But finding a career path is one thing. What about actually gaining those in-demand skills? How does RoleCatcher help with that?
You're one step ahead of me. RoleCatcher's skills section within Career Compass, that's where the magic happens.
It's like they're saying, all right, you've found your dream career, now here are the stepping stones to get there.
Exactly. They don't just list out skills, they give you concrete steps you can take. Think links to relevant courses online, information on professional certifications, even volunteer opportunities to gain practical experience.
It's a personalized career development plan right there at your fingertips, all curated based on your unique goals and interests.
And you know what impresses me most about RoleCatcher? Their commitment to accessibility. So much of what they offer is totally free. And even their premium features, super affordable.
That really shows you they're serious about empowering people on their career journeys, whatever those journeys might look like. They're not just selling a service, they're building a community.
Couldn't agree more.
Mhm.
So to wrap things up, what's the big takeaway for our listener today? If you're feeling lost, if you're curious, if you just want to explore what's out there, RoleCatcher is the place to be.
They've taken something that can feel overwhelming, the whole career thing, and they made it exciting, manageable, dare I say, even fun.
And who knows? Maybe someday our listener will be the one sharing their career journey, guiding others with all the wisdom they've gained.
I love that. It's amazing how one deep dive can spark a whole chain reaction of exploration and growth. Thanks for joining us on this adventure into the world of ground stewards, desses, and everything in between. Until next time on the deep dive, keep those learner spirits high, and remember, your dream career could be just around the corner.